Taiwan, I'm Jeremy Olivier with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Chinese and U.S. officials say they have agreed on a trade framework following talks in London. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says the deal would include a resolution on rare earth minerals.
We do absolutely expect that the topic of rare earth minerals and magnets with respect to the United States of America will be resolved in this framework implementation. That is a fundamental part of that.
China currently dominates the global market for those minerals, which are used in everything from consumer tech products to advanced weapons. Talks between the two countries stalled last month in Geneva over disagreements about rare earths and U.S. chip export controls. Both sides say they will now take the draft deal back to their leaders. Another warning about the world economy. The World Bank has cut its global growth forecast to its lowest level since the 2008 financial crisis, citing uncertainty around U.S. tariffs.
While we are not expecting a global recession, the outlook remains sobering. If our forecasts materialize over the next 2 years, the first 7 years of this decade will register the weakest growth rate since 1960s.
The World Bank now expects global growth of just 2.3% for 2025, down nearly half a percentage point from its January prediction. It also cut its growth estimates for 70% of economies, including the United States, China, and Europe. Taiwan isn't included in the World Bank's country-by-country analysis because it lacks official membership, but its economic performance is counted in the global growth figures. The Taiwanese dollar is on the rise. Good news for shoppers, but a headache for local businesses. As the currency gains strength, some companies are feeling the squeeze. Aichi reports.
Enticed by favorable exchange rates and falling prices, Taiwanese tourists are eyeing trips to Japan to hit these Tokyo shopping streets where they're finding their money goes a little further than usual.
日币有考虑，最近要去日本玩，会选时机再进场。
总比存在银行里面也不会变，利息也很少啊。那你干脆换，然后还可以就是出国。
But while the higher value of Taiwan's currency is a welcome bonus for holidaymakers, it's created some serious challenges for Taiwan's financial institutions and local industries. See, it's not just the yen that the Taiwanese dollar has appreciated against. In fact, it's a whole basket of currencies. And it's the rise against the US dollar especially that's causing headaches here in Taiwan. The life insurance industry invested heavily in the greenback in recent years, attracted by the higher interest rate, so higher returns of US assets. But insurers didn't do enough to protect themselves against sudden changes in the value of those assets, a process known as hedging. Authorities think this could lead to foreign exchange losses of up to $6.6 billion for local insurers.
所以1块钱的这样那个涨跌，就是差不多总体约略估计2000亿的影响数。
Taiwan's export-oriented economy is also feeling the impact of a stronger Taiwanese dollar.
这个28呢，我们这些是12年疫情过后所做的，都是全部被它吃回去了。我们都是那个利润都很低嘛，你稍微一影响到我们，就是没有办法。所以现在有很多这个中小型的，他们说的，我干脆就不做了。
As the Taiwanese dollar strengthens, local businesses earn less from customers buying their products in US dollars, while big companies can relatively easily absorb losses. Small enterprises, the kind that have long made up Taiwan's economy, see their profit margins eroded.
Additional headwinds like price competition from Japan and China, global supply chain restructuring, and the impact of US tariffs are all added up to a perfect storm that businesses are struggling to overcome. Analysts say the government needs to do more to support those businesses.
政府应该是有跨部会一个协助传统产业2次升级转型，从补助、租税优惠、辅导，从资金的一些挹注，协助传统产业渡过难关。要不然，下半年到明年，一些传统产业会面临很大的一些，比如说无薪假，甚至有一些倒闭潮。
While the government has not launched specific measures to counter the rise in Taiwanese dollar, it has rolled out a package worth nearly $3 billion to support local industries and affected businesses. For now, Taiwanese businesses are keeping their eyes firmly on the exchange rate and doing their best to prepare for the unexpected. Alex Cheng, Ryan Wu, and IT for TaiwanPlus.
Tensions in Los Angeles are at a high amid ongoing protests against U.S. President Donald Trump's immigration policies. Trump has deployed thousands of National Guard troops and Marines to quell the demonstrations, and LA's mayor has announced a curfew. Izzy Wells reports.
Outside a federal detention facility in Los Angeles, protesters face off against some of the thousands of National Guard troops and active duty Marines that U.S. President Donald Trump deployed in response to demonstrations against his immigration policies. As protests entered their fifth straight day on Tuesday, LA Mayor Karen Bass announced a curfew for the city's downtown, reiterating pleas for immigration raids to end.
I wanted to let the city know that I have declared a local emergency and issued a curfew for downtown Los Angeles to stop the vandalism, to stop the looting. And if we want to see our city peaceful again, I will call upon the administration one more time to end the raids.
The decision to deploy active military troops has been met with fierce backlash from local officials and Democrats. But speaking to Congress, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is defending the move.
We believe ICE agents should be allowed to be safe in doing their operations, and we have deployed National Guard and the Marines to protect them in the execution of their duties, because we ought to be able to enforce immigration law in this country.
Tensions between Trump and state leaders continue to escalate following California Governor Gavin Newsom's announcement he will be suing the Trump administration over the National Guard deployment. Trump has since accused both Newsom and Bass of paying protesters to cause unrest.
In Los Angeles, the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles, they're incompetent, and they paid troublemakers, agitators, and insurrectionists. They're engaged in this willful attempt to nullify federal law and aid the occupation of the city by criminal invaders.
Meanwhile, anti-ICE rallies are spreading across the U.S., many marching in support of those in LA and immigrant communities.
And it could get worse if we don't come out and fight. If we don't come out and show that we are willing to stand up for our rights, stand up for our First Amendment rights, stand up for the rights of immigrants, the rights of people to be able to work, to be able to live, to create a life for their families here. If we don't stand up for that, it could get worse.
Back on the outskirts of Los Angeles, U.S. military troops await orders, with Hegseth saying they could be on standby for at least 60 days. But as the federal presence intensifies, anger on the streets continues to swell along with it. Patrick Chen and Izzy Wells for TaiwanPlus.
In the Philippines, the impeachment trial against the vice president seems to now be in limbo. The country's Senate voted to send back the impeachment complaint against Sara Duterte to the House of Representatives. The lower house, which impeached Duterte in February, is accusing her of several charges, including misusing public funds. If convicted, she could be removed from her post and permanently banned from seeking public office, derailing potential plans to run for president in 2028. The Senate says it wants to clear up any questions on the legality of the impeachment complaint before the formal trial begins. The Defense Ministry says it spotted 43 Chinese military aircraft operating around Taiwan in a 24-hour period ending Wednesday morning. 25 of those jets entered Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. This area is not Taiwan's sovereign airspace, but acts as a buffer zone for defensive purposes. The incursion comes amid a surge in Chinese military activity around Taiwan. Japan says it also spotted China's 2 aircraft carriers, the Liaoning and Shandong, in the Western Pacific. That's the first time the vessels have operated together in the region. Taiwan's society is aging more rapidly, with births hitting a record low in May, further shrinking the country's population of around 23 million people. Fewer than 9,000 babies were born in May, while over 10,000 deaths were recorded that month. It marks Taiwan's 17th consecutive month of population decline, according to the Interior Ministry statistics. While the marriage rate has rebounded slightly, it's uncertain if that will translate to more births down the road. Taiwan faces long-term demographic challenges. The country is set to become a super-aged society this year, with over 20% of its population aged 65 or older. Young people along Taiwan's northeast coast are embracing hip-hop culture, but making it their own in a region with its own deep traditions. Eric Gao has this story.
These breakdancers are part of a wave of hip-hop culture that's spread all across Taiwan. But these aren't your typical b-boys. They're part of a separate movement that doesn't just follow American styles. Rather, it pushes them in a strongly local direction. Leading the vanguard of the movement is Wang Jieming. His family didn't like it at all when he first got into hip-hop. But now he's made something of a name for himself, not just as a breakdancer, but as a mentor to many young people from miles around and as a proud representative of his home, Yilan County on Taiwan's northeast coast.
我就是开始代表台湾出去比赛不哩啊侪届，嘛伫韩国、中国甲无共的国家摕到冠军过，想要用我家己的跳舞出去代表宜兰出去，互搁较侪人知影讲，咱宜兰嘛有袂歹的舞者呢。
And this hometown pride shows up again and again in Yilan's hip-hop culture scene. The Yilan Street Art Association is a graffiti collective that's also very proud of where it comes from. Though its members take their inspiration from Western street art, they've made a name for themselves spray painting motifs and scenes based on local folk culture. Wang knows these young people and helps find them spaces that want murals with these traditional designs.
王建民有当时就较侪庙有熟悉，有庙嘛有要转型啊。像4号静安宫，我就是用我的方式去甲妈祖千里的顺风耳龙凤加庙宇元素的物件放去顶馆。
And Yilan pride goes right through the local rap scene too. Drawing inspiration from local temple culture and its music, rap crew Cocky Boys represents Yilan County in one of its own languages. In their hands, the once marginalized Taiwanese Taiyi becomes an elegant vehicle for songs about home, belonging, and rootedness.
像中国他们有国风、古风啊，那 hip hop 这种东西啊，讲美国，它本来就是他们自己的东西。但是台湾好像还没有真的说，有完全属于自己的嘻哈。你就思考是不是，如果跟北管结合，会不会创造出台湾自己的音乐？
This crew thinks it's found the answer. Yes. Yes, they can. It may not have a local origin, but in Yilan County, U.S. street culture has taken on a new guise, with young people from around the region adapting and reshaping foreign elements into something deeply rooted in the local landscape. Ryan Wu, John Van Trieste, and Eric Gao for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more of our stories. Before we go, take a listen to Vox Nativa, an indigenous choir from Taiwan performing in Berlin. I'm Jeremy Olivier. Take care and see you next time.